Captain Marcus Hale stood straight and silent in the middle of the giant alien throne room. The walls sparkled like diamond, the floor shimmered like ice, and the ceiling stretched high above with glowing crystal lights.
Oh.
It felt more like a dream than a peace meeting. But Marcus knew better. He was here to stop a war. Across from him, sitting on a floating throne shaped like a crescent moon, was Queen Surlith of the Zorathian Empire. She was tall, elegant, and had glowing violet skin. Her golden eyes watched Marcus closely. Round her stood a dozen royal guards, dressed in sharp silver armor, their weapons glowing faintly with energy. Marcus had been in battle many times before. He had led troops, fought pirates, and survived alien ambushes. But this was harder than war. Diplomacy was a different kind of battlefield. He was completely alone. The translator drone floated between them, humming softly. When the queen finally spoke, the drone translated her words in a calm, neutral voice. "Human Captain Marcus Hale," the queen said, "the war between our people must end. Too much blood has been spilled. We desire peace." Marcus nodded. "I agree. Your Majesty, humanity wants peace too. Our leaders are ready to sign a treaty." The queen leaned forward. "Then we must follow the way of the old laws. A royal bonding, a marriage." Marcus blinked. "Excuse me?" The drone repeated the words again. "A royal bonding. You, Captain Marcus Hale, must marry the Queen of Zorathia. Me." Marcus nearly laughed, but stopped himself just in time. This had to be a joke. He looked at the royal advisors beside her, but their faces were serious. No one was smiling. He looked back at the queen. "Wait, you're serious?" he asked, trying to keep his voice respectful. The queen nodded once. "It is the ancient custom of our people. Peace is sealed by union. If you marry me, our empires will be forever tied. No more war, no more death." Marcus took a deep breath. He had expected to sign some papers, shake some hands, maybe give a speech. He did not expect to be proposed to by an alien queen. Before he could say anything, another voice echoed through the room. "If he marries you, he must marry me too." A new figure entered the chamber, walking boldly down the crystal steps. Was younger, with the same violet skin but darker hair, braided with shining threads. She wore a short cloak and had a sword at her hip. Her golden eyes sparkled with mischief. "Kalira," the queen sighed. Marcus turned to look at the new alien. She was beautiful in a wild, unpredictable way. She stopped beside her sister and smiled at Marcus. "You see, dear human," she said, "the royal law says both royal heirs must join with the foreign ruler. That means me too. You take one of us, you take both." Marcus took a step back. "Wait, you're saying have to marry two alien princesses?" The translator drone buzzed. "Affirmative." Marcus stared at the two sisters. One calm and cold like winter, the other fiery and unpredictable like a storm. This was beyond crazy. This was something out of a cheap space soap opera. He tapped his communicator. "Ava, are you hearing this?" A small voice came from his earpiece. "Yes, Captain. The translator confirms it. It's part of the Zorathian Treaty Law, Article 12. Royal bonding with heirs to seal interspecies alliances." Marcus sighed. "And command didn't warn me?" Ava's voice replied with a hint of amusement. "Apparently they thought you'd figure it out." Great Queen Sorella stood from her throne and walked toward Marcus. Her long royal robe flowed behind her, glittering like stardust. She stopped just a few steps away. "Do you refuse, Captain?" she asked quietly. Marcus looked into her eyes. He saw more than power there. He saw tiredness, pain, a deep need for peace. "I don't know what to say," he answered honestly. "Then think quickly," Kalira said with a grin. "I don't want to be kept waiting, future husband." A loud buzz came from the side of the room. A group of reporters and media drones had arrived. Human and alien cameras zoomed in on the scene. Within seconds, Marcus Hale's face and the proposal was being broadcast live across the galaxy. "Oh no," Marcus muttered. Back aboard the human embassy ship, His assistant, Lieutenant Ramirez, was watching the footage on a screen. "Are you seeing this?" She shouted. "The Queen just proposed. And her sister, too." The communication officer laughed. "Captain Hale's going to be a legend." Back on the moon's surface, Marcus stood stiff as a statue. Queen Sorelith returned to her throne. "You may take time to consider," she said, "but not long. The Empire needs unity." She waved her hand, and the royal guards stepped back. A servant approached Marcus. "You will be given royal guest quarters," the servant said. "The princesses will visit you later." Marcus sighed. He had faced plasma fire, warlords, and deadly space beasts. But nothing had prepared him for this. That night, in his new palace quarters, Marcus sat on a crystal bench beside a glowing plant that smelled like mint and metal. Ava, the AI, projected her avatar, a small glowing sphere with a gentle voice. "So, Captain," she said playfully, "2 brides. That's efficient." Marcus groaned. "Don't start. You do realize, if you agree, you'd technically become royalty. Prince Consort, Marcus Hale. Don't make it worse. Your face is already trending. You're being called the diplomatic bachelor." Marcus stood up and paced. "This is insane. I'm a soldier, not a husband to alien nobility. You could say no and ruin the peace treaty. Cause more war. I'd be the guy who refused the Queen's hand and started another galactic battle." There was a knock. At the door, Marcus turned. "Who is it?" The door slid open, and in walked Princess Kalira. Dressed in a sharp combat suit and carrying a plate of strange-looking food. "Dinner," she said, smiling. "We might as well get to know each other, husband-to-be." Marcus stared at her. This was going to be a very long night. Marcus Hale chewed slowly. The food was strange purple, chewy and spicy, but not bad. He sat across from Princess Kalira in his new royal quarters. The table between them was made of smooth white stone that glowed faintly. A warm breeze from the air vents carried a soft floral scent through the room. Kalira watched him eat with a sly smile. So human. "What do you think of Zarathian cuisine?" Marcus coughed lightly. "It's chewy," Kalira laughed. "Love chewy." "Is good?" "Means it's fresh." Marcus looked at the plate again. "What is this exactly?" Kalira grinned. "Roasted Claren beast tail. A delicacy on our moon. It's usually served during important events." "Like a marriage proposal?" Marcus leaned back. "About that. Can we talk about the whole marry me and my sister situation?" She tilted her head. "Of course, you're curious, nervous." Marcus gave a small shrug. "It's not every day to alien royals show up and ask to marry you." Kalira stood up and walked toward the large window, looking out at the glowing city beyond. "Sorelith is serious about peace. She doesn't joke. But she also doesn't love Isley. She's giving you more than a treaty. She's giving you her trust." Marcus followed her gaze. "And you?" Kalia turned to face him, her golden eyes bright. "I've never followed rules. I don't care much for royal laws or stiff traditions, but I do care about my people, and I'm curious about you, human, from a young, loud, unpredictable species. You're not boring? That's rare." Marcus chuckled. "Thanks, I guess." Lyra stepped closer. "You could have run. Or said no, but you stayed. That matters more than you think." Before Marcus could respond, the doors opened again. This time, Queen Sorelith entered, dressed in a long black robe that sparkled with silver threads. She looked elegant and cold, like a statue brought to life. "Kylira," she said firmly. "Leave us." Kalira rolled her eyes. "Always so serious, sister." Now, with a mock bow, Kylira left the room. The door slid shut behind her. Sorelith walked to the center of the room and stood silently for a moment. Marcus stood up. "Out of respect, I owe you an explanation," she said finally. Marcus nodded. That would help. Sorelith sat down across from him. "Our empire is strong, but it's fragile inside. Some nobles want war. They believe humans are weak and should be conquered, not negotiated with." Marcus frowned. I've heard that before. She continued, if I marry a human, it shows the people that peace is the future. It shows them I trust your kind. But that alone is not enough. The old law says the royal bloodline must be doubled. Both sisters must bond with the same partner to seal a lasting treaty. So this isn't just politics, Marcus said. It's survival. Sorlith nodded. Yes, if I don't act, the empire may collapse. If I choose wrong, we lose everything. Marcus leaned forward. Why me? You were the only human officer who didn't flinch during the last battle. You ordered mercy for surrendering Zarathian troops. You're brave, fair, and calm under pressure. My advisors said you were the best choice. Marcus sighed. So, this is my reward. Sorelith looked directly into his eyes. You think it's a punishment? No, Marcus said slowly. Just unexpected. There was silence for a while. Then Sorelith spoke again, softly. Do you fear us? Marcus looked at her. No. I fear making the wrong choice. Sorelith stood. Then don't rush. We have time, but not much. She walked toward the door, then paused. My sister likes you, she said without turning. She hides her feelings with jokes. But she's serious too. Don't take her lightly. Then she left. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He lay on a soft, floating bed made of something that felt like clouds. Outside, twin moons glowed in the alien sky. His thoughts were loud. 2 sisters, 2 futures. One huge decision. A soft voice spoke in his ear. Ava here. You been lying awake for 2 hours? Marcus sat up. You spying on me? The monitor? Your vitals, you're stressed. No kidding. Ava's voice softened. You care about doing the right thing. That's rare. I'm not ready to be a symbol. Too late, Ava replied. Ow. The whole galaxy is watching. Marcus groaned. That doesn't help. A beep interrupted their talk. A message arrived on his tablet. It was from Kalira. Meet me at the training arena, midnight. We're something you can move in. Don't be late. Marcus stared at the message. She's serious about this bonding thing, he muttered. At midnight, Marcus arrived at the Royal Training Arena. It was an open space under a crystal dome lit by moonlight. Kalira stood at the center, holding 2 swords. One she tossed to Marcus. Let's see what the famous human warrior can do, she said, smiling. Marcus caught the sword and tested its weight. Light but sharp. Why are we fighting? He asked. Because words are cheap, she said. Show me what kind of man you are. They circled each other. Then Kalira attacked. She was fast, very fast, but Marcus was experienced. Blocked, dodged, and countered. Their blades clashed with sparks. For 10 minutes they fought without stopping. Then Kalira stepped back, panting. You're good? You're better, Marcus said, wiping sweat from his forehead. She looked at him. We're not just brave. You're smart. That's dangerous in politics. Marcus lowered his sword. Why did you really ask me to marry you? She hesitated, then said, Because I want to change things. I can't do it alone. If you're by my side, the Empire listens. Marcus stared at her. And your sister. She trusts you. Even if she doesn't show it. Kalira stepped closer. I'm asking for a partnership. Maybe love comes later. Maybe not. But if you say yes, you'll have both of us, and we'll have you. Not as a trophy, as a leader. Marcus felt the weight of her words. Before he could respond, a loud boom shook the arena. The ground trembled. What was that? Marcus asked, reaching for his cum. Another explosion. Kalira's face turned serious. That's not training. That's an attack. Sirens began to wail. Ava's voice shouted in his ear. Emergency alert. There's been a breach in the palace defenses. Unknown hostiles. Marcus looked at Kalira. Looks like you're nobles. Don't like the wedding idea. She nodded. Time to show them what humans are really made of. They ran out of the arena together, swords in hand. The palace was under attack. Marcus and Princess Kalira rushed through the glowing halls of the royal arena. Red warning lights flashed along the ceiling. Guards shouted into their combs. Alarm sirens wailed through the city like a howling storm. "Who's attacking us?" Marcus asked, gripping the sword Kalira had given him. "Rebel nobles," Kalira said, her face cold and serious. "They've been planning this for months. They want war, not peace. They think Sorelith is weak for choosing a human." As they turned a corner, they came face to face with a group of rebel soldiers. Their armor was dark and rough, painted with red stripes, the mark of the House of Volkar, one of the most violent noble families in the Zarathian Empire. "Down," Kalira shouted, diving to the side. Plasma blasts shot across the hallway. Marcus rolled behind a statue and took a deep breath. He had been in firefights before, but never while being half-dressed in royal training clothes. "Cover me," he shouted. Kalira nodded. She dashed across the hallway, her sword glowing with energy. She jumped straight into the group of rebels, moving like a blur. Her blade danced through the air quick, precise, deadly. Marcus moved fast, tackling one. Rebel from behind. He punched hard, grabbed the fallen soldier's blaster, and fired 3 clean shots. 2 enemies dropped. The others ran. Marcus looked at Kalira. "Nice teamwork," she grinned. "We make a great couple already. Let's not get ahead of ourselves." They ran again, heading for the throne hall. The palace was falling apart. Parts of the ceiling had collapsed. Smoke filled the air. Fires burned along the walls, crackling in strange colors. Royal servants and guards were rushing around, trying to protect the queen and civilians. When they reached the throne hall, it was chaos. Queen Sorelith stood at the center of the room, holding a long silver staff. Around her, the elite royal guard fought hard to push back more rebels. Explosions rocked the floor. A giant stained glass window shattered above, raining glass down like falling stars. Marcus ran to the queen's side. "You're still alive," Sorelith said, her voice calm but strained. "Barely," Marcus replied. "Who's leading this attack?" Sorelith pointed with her staff. "Lord Varnak. He was once loyal, but now he wants the throne." On the far side of the room, a tall Zarathian male in dark red armor shouted commands. His voice echoed across the chamber and the queen's line. "The empire belongs to the strong," Kalira growled. "That coward." Sorelith looked at Marcus. "If we fall here, peace dies with us. Will you fight?" Marcus nodded without hesitation. "I didn't come this far to watch everything burn." Sorelith smiled for the first time. "Then let's finish this." The battle turned fierce. Marcus fought beside Kalira, moving as one unit. He blasted rebels, disarmed attackers, and protected civilians. Kalira flipped, stabbed, and dodged with stunning speed. Sorelith used her staff like a blade and shield, her calm face never changing. More royal guards arrived. The tide began to shift. Marcus ducked behind a throne pillar and shouted into his communicator, "Ava, I need backup now." Her voice responded. "Quickly, human embassy ship has launched drones. EATA. 5 minutes. Make it 2. Suddenly, Lord Varnak leaped onto the throne platform, swinging a massive hammer crackling with red energy. "You will not poison our bloodline with humans." He roared, charging straight at Marcus. Marcus rolled aside, barely dodging the blow. The hammer smashed into the floor, breaking the stone like paper. Kalira slashed at Varnak, but he blocked it with brute force. He kicked her back, turning his fury on Marcus. "You think you deserve our queen?" Varnak growled. "I didn't ask for any of this," Marcus shouted, firing his blaster. The shots hit Varnak's shoulder, but the armor absorbed most of it. Varnak punched Marcus hard, sending him crashing into a wall. Pain shot through Marcus's ribs. His vision blurred, but then Kalira screamed. Marcus looked up. Varnak had grabbed her by the neck, lifting her off the ground. "No," Marcus shouted. He stood, ignoring the pain. His hand reached for the sword Kalira had given him earlier, one still glowing with Zarathian energy. With a yell, Marcus ran forward, dodging Varnak's swing. He slid under the hammer and stabbed the sword deep into Varnak's side. The blade went through, Varnick roared in pain, dropping Kalira. She landed hard but rolled away. Marcus pulled the sword free and slashed again. This time, Varnack fell. The room went silent. The rebels froze. Sorelith raised her voice. Your leader is dead. Surrender and you may live. Some rebels dropped their weapons. Others tried to run, but were quickly captured by the Queen's guards. A moment later, the embassy ship's drones arrived, shining bright lights through the broken windows. Human reinforcements stormed in, securing the area. It was over. Later, in the palace infirmary, Marcus sat on a bed with a bandage around his ribs. Kalira sat beside him, arm in a sling. Both looked tired but alive. You saved me, she said softly. You saved me first, Marcus replied. Sorelith entered the room. Her robes were torn, and her hair was loose, but her eyes were clear and proud. I've made my decision, she said. Marcus sat up straighter. About what? She looked between him and Kalira. About you? Kalira raised an eyebrow. Don't we get a say? Sorelith smiled. You already gave yours. You fought for us. You stood with us. You didn't run, even when everything was falling apart. Marcus rubbed the back of his neck. I guess I'm not good at running away. You're more than a soldier, Sorelith said. You're the symbol of a new future. She stepped forward and offered her hand. Captain Marcus Hale. Will you still marry the Queen of Zerathia and her sister? Marcus looked at Kalira. She gave him a smirk and a wink. Then he looked at Sorelith. Her face was serious, but her eyes were soft, now not cold like before. He took her hand. Yes, Sorelith nodded.
Oh.
Then let the stars witness this alliance. The news spread like a supernova. Human captain to wed alien queen's peace sealed. In blood and Scio, Regear across the galaxy, species watched the historic moment with awe. Enemies became allies. Old borders faded. For the first time in centuries, hope rose among the stars. And at the center of it all was one confused, brave, exhausted human, Marcus Hale, the man who came for a peace treaty, left with 2 alien wives. Marcus Hale stood at the edge of a giant balcony made of silverstone. From here he could see the twin moons hanging above the city of Virulon. Below, thousands of people cheered and waved flags. Ships hovered in the sky, displaying huge images. Of his face alongside Queen Sorelith and Princess Kalira, he was officially married now, to both of them. It still didn't feel real behind him. The royal musicians played soft music. The palace glowed with light. Alien nobles in colorful robes floated around the reception hall like moths near a flame. Still breathing? Kalira asked, walking up beside him with a glass in her hand. Barely, Marcus replied. I fought pirates, escaped explosions, and once flew a shuttle with no engines.
Oh.
But nothing prepared me for a royal wedding. Kalira laughed. You handled it better than some Zerathian nobles. One fainted during the vows. Marcus shook his head. I thought Earth politics were weird. Just then, Sorelith approached, dressed in a white and black royal robe, her silver crown glinting under the lights. She moved like she ruled the stars, but her eyes softened when she looked at Marcus. It is done, she said simply. Yes, Marcus replied. Now what? Sorelith raised an eyebrow. Now you learn how to rule an empire? Marcus blinked. You're serious? She nodded. You are not just a husband now. You are first consort to the Empress and Prince's Regent. You have power, voice, responsibility. Marcus sighed. Can I still eat breakfast in peace? Only on holidays, Kalira teased. The next morning, Marcus woke up in his new chambers. They were 10 times bigger than his old Earth apartment. A giant floating bed. A wall-sized screen for star maps. 3 robot assistants, and a wardrobe. Full of clothes that looked like they belonged in a sci-fi fashion show, he got dressed in his new royal tunic, dark blue with a silver sash, and walked to the main council room. To his surprise, Sorelith and Kalira were already there. So were several alien nobles, generals, and advisors. A holographic table showed different star systems glowing with activity. Sorelith motioned for Marcus to sit beside her. "This is your first High Council meeting," she said. Kalira leaned over. "Don't fall asleep. It'll start a scandal." Marcus gave her a look, but sat quietly. A general spoke first. Reports from the Elturi sector. Pirate attacks continue near the trade lanes. A merchant noble added, "Profits are down 12%. If this continues, the Traders Guild may demand compensation." Sorelith turned to Marcus. "What do you suggest?" Marcus blinked. "You want my opinion?" Kalira whispered. "You married the queens. You don't get to sit quietly anymore." Marcus leaned forward. "Have we tried using human patrol drones? They're cheaper and faster, could cover more space with fewer ships." The generals looked at each other, surprised. "That's efficient," one said, "and practical." Sorelith gave a small nod. "Send a test fleet. Use Marcus's plan." Marcus sat back, stunned. His idea had actually worked. Days passed quickly. Marcus found himself learning the strange dance of royalty. Meetings, ceremonies, news interviews, diplomatic dinners with A-tide ambassadors who drank through their hands. He studied Zarathian history, culture, and language with Ava's help. The AI whispered advice in his ear during public speeches. "Bow your head slightly, not too low. That species sees full bows as insults. Don't touch the ambassador's shoulder. It's a mating gesture on his planet." Through it all, Kalira helped him laugh. She made jokes during dull dinners, whispered funny comments during formal dances, and once replaced his royal boots with slippers just before a press photo. Sorelith, on the other hand, guided him with a calm hand. She shared strategies, explained the delicate balance of power, and slowly opened up about her dreams for the future. One night, they all sat in the royal garden quiet, stars above, glowing plants around them. Marcus looked at both sisters. "You're not what I expected." Sorelith raised an eyebrow. "And what did you expect?" "Sorelith to be cold, Kalira to be wild. But you're both more." Kalira smiled. "We're not just roles, Marcus. We're people, queens, yes, but also sisters, and now wives." Added, "This marriage is not only political, it is personal. It must be built on more than treaties." Marcus looked up at the stars. "I'll try. I really will." Kalira leaned against his arm. "That's all we need." But peace never lasts forever. 1 week after the wedding, news arrived from the border planets. A Zarathian admiral named Vostral had declared the treaty invalid. He refused to accept a human in the royal family. His fleet had taken control of a military shipyard and was now building his own force. "He's calling himself the true flame of Zarathia," said the intelligence officer. Marcus frowned. "Sounds like a bad sci-fi villain." "Is more dangerous than he sounds," Sorelith said. "He was once my mentor," Kalira added. "He's also a war hero." Some older nobles support him. Marcus stood. "Then let's talk to him." The council fell silent. "You want to meet him?" Sorelith asked. "Yes," Marcus said. "Alone, if I can get him to back down, we avoid bloodshed." "It's too risky," Sorelith said. "I'm not just your husband," Marcus replied. "I'm your partner. Let me help." Sorelith looked at Kalira. They seemed to speak with their eyes. Finally, Sorelith nodded. "He'll take a secure ship. Ava will monitor everything. One wrong move, and we pull you out." Marcus smiled. "Deal." The next day, Marcus flew to a deep space station where Admiral Vastral waited. The old Zarathian warrior had gray skin, sharp yellow eyes, and a voice like thunder. "You are bold to face me alone," Vostral said as Marcus stepped into the room. "I'm human. We do bold things," Marcus replied calmly. Vostral laughed. "You're not what I expected." Marcus sat across from him. "Do you think I'm weak?" I think you're a symbol of weakness," Vostral said. "Love and peace make empires." "Soft." Marcus leaned forward. "And what do war and fear give you? A pile of ashes?" Vostral's eyes narrowed. "Careful, human." "I've fought in war," Marcus said. I've seen death, betrayal, and pain, but I've also seen what peace brings. Real peace. Built with courage, not fear. Vostrel stood up. You think your words will change my mind? No, Marcus said, standing too. But I think you miss the empire you fought to protect. And deep down you know, you burn it down now. You betray your own legacy. The room fell silent then, slowly. Astral sat back down. I will not attack, he said. But I will watch you closely, human prince. Marcus returned to the palace, where Sorelith and Kalira waited. He entered the throne room to thunderous applause from the Council. Sorelith stood and walked toward him. You did it, she said softly. Marcus smiled. No war today. Kalira rushed in from the side and jumped into his arms. You're officially the most annoying, stubborn, and amazing human I've ever met. I try, Marcus said, hugging her back. The two queens stood beside their husband, the human, who had become more than a symbol. He was now a leader, a warrior of peace, a husband of an empire. 1 month after the treaty and wedding, the galaxy looked peaceful on the surface, but under that calm, trouble was growing. A strange energy signal had been discovered near the edge of the known systems beyond the rim sector. Ships had gone. Silent there. A Zerathian science vessel had vanished. Then a human exploration drone returned. Damaged, covered in strange black dust, and full of static noises that sounded like screaming. What do you think it is? Marcus asked, during the emergency meeting. Sorellis' face was serious. I don't know. It doesn't match any enemy technology or ancient ruin we've cataloged. Kalira frowned. Some of the crew were turned into crystal, their bodies shattered into pieces like glass. The room went cold with silence. Marcus stood. Then, we need to investigate. General Vrexen shook his head. Too risky, it could be a trap or worse, something that spreads. Marcus looked around the room. So we wait while it gets stronger? Sorelith looked at him. You want to lead the mission? Marcus nodded. Let me take a small team. 1 ship. If it's nothing, great. If it's real. Warn the galaxy. Kalira stood beside him. I'm going too. Marcus looked at her. It's dangerous, she smirked. I didn't marry you to sit on a throne while you get all the fun. Sorelith hesitated. Then she stepped down from the throne. Then we go together. Marcus blinked. You mean all 3 of us? Sorelith looked at him. This is the end of the world. I'm not letting it happen without me. The ship was named the Radiant Star. Sleek, silver, and fast it was. Built with human tech and Zerathian upgrades, a perfect symbol of their alliance. The crew was small. Just 12 members, hand-picked soldiers, scientists, and engineers from both Earth and Shratha. As the ship launched, Marcus looked out at the stars. The silence of space felt heavier now. Could sense something out there. Waiting, they traveled. For 3 days. On the 4th day, the stars around them began to flicker strangely. Ava the AI spoke in a cold voice. Gravitational distortions detected. Unnatural movement in nearby space. Marcus, Sorelith, and Kalira stood at the main window as the radiant star entered the dark zone. What they saw froze them. A giant structure floated in space. It wasn't built, it had grown. It's like a massive black flower made of bone and metal. Its tendrils spread out, touching asteroids and drawing energy from nearby planets. It's alive, Kalira whispered. Suddenly a deep pulse echoed through the ship's walls. Not a sound, but a feeling, like something ancient had just noticed them. Ava's voice trembled. Unidentified signal. Attempting communication. Marcus stepped forward. We'll put it on audio. The ship's speakers hissed and spoke in 1,000 voices at once. We are the silence between stars. We consumed the first suns. We are memory and hunger. Surrender and become part of forever. The lights flickered. Everyone stared in. Horror, Sorelith clenched her fist. It's not a creature. It's a galaxy eater. Kalira turned to Marcus. What do we do now? Marcus looked at the control panel. We fight. The alien structure began to move, slowly. With impossible grace, considering its size. Tendrils reached toward the ship, glowing with strange black fire, Marcus shouted. Ava, evasive maneuvers. The ship dove and twisted through space, avoiding the tendrils. But one brushed against the back engine. A loud explosion rocked the ship. We've lost our warp drive, Ava cried. We are trapped. The crew fought to keep the ship together. Sparks flew. Panels fell from the ceiling in the middle of it all. Marcus stood firm. I have an idea, he said, but it's risky. Sorelith grabbed his arm. Tell us. Overload the fusion core, Marcus said. Make it look like the ship is exploding. The alien will come to absorb it. But instead, we hide in the emergency pod, then detonate a quantum bomb inside its center. Kalira raised her eyebrows. That's not just risky, that's insane. I've done worse, Marcus said with a grin. Sorelith didn't smile. You could die. Marcus looked at them both. If I don't try, we all die. Maybe the whole galaxy. There was silence. Then Sorelith stepped forward. Then we go with you. He shook his head. No, you're the heart of this alliance. If I fail, someone needs to survive. Khalida hugged him tight. You better come back, you stubborn, noble fool. Sorelith kissed his forehead. For the Empire. Marcus entered the engine room. Alarms flashed. Heat poured from the walls. He opened the bomb case, set the timer, and activated the emergency pod outside. The alien structure was closing in massive jaws of black energy opening to swallow the ship. Marcus climbed into the pod, sealed the hatch, and launched. The radiant star appeared to explode behind him. But inside the creature, Marcus floated. The emergency pod slowly made its way toward the alien's core. Inside the structure, it was like a nightmare. He saw faces. In the walls, millions of them. Screaming, whispering, begging. All the lives the creature consumed. He gritted his teeth and pushed forward. The pod reached the center. A swirling orb of dark light beating like a heart. Marcus activated the bomb. The voice came again. You are small. You are nothing. Marcus replied, Yeah, maybe, but I'm human. He pressed the trigger. Everything went white. When Marcus opened his eyes, he was floating in silence. The pod was cracked. Systems failing. Oxygen low. But the alien structure was going to blast it into shards, drifting in space like broken glass. His body ached. His vision blurred. Come on, he whispered. Just a little longer. A light appeared in the distance. A ship. The radiant star. Marcus smiled weakly as the pod doors opened and Kylira's voice screamed. He's alive. Sorelith caught him as he fell forward. You idiot, she whispered. You saved us all. He gave a tired smile. Told you, I try. 3 weeks later, Marcus stood on a platform in front of billions. He wore a new robe-part human uniform, part royal cloth, symbol of unity. Sorelith stood on his left, Kalira on his right. Behind them, the flags of Earth and Zerathia flew side by side. A new alliance had formed, not just between two species, but between hope and strength, between past and future, and at the heart of it was a human who had come to negotiate peace and ended up saving the galaxy.